Alright, I'm going to show you guys how I use my tandem insulin pump with inset 2, in this case, animas pump sites. And because they don't normally connect with each other, because the connectors are different nowadays, I have a way around that. Splicing the tubing. So my old one here just broke. I dropped my pump and this part came apart right beside where I joined it, right at the end of the cartridge. So I'm going to show you the whole process here. Hopefully this won't be too long. I don't need the banana and the applesauce in the bowl. That is my phone mount. So I can show you what I'm doing with two hands. So hopefully this will hold my phone while I do this. Alright, so as I said, I'm going to be starting with the Animas Inset 2 cartridge. And I'm going to be putting it on my side about here. This part, I don't know how I'm going to show you without putting the phone down for a moment. I'm trying to, hopefully this works, so I can show you this way. Yeah, I think I'm in the camera there. Okay. I'm going to be putting it here on my left side, right about there. Trying not to rush this part of it because I don't want it to be wet with the alcohol wipe. Alright. So pump site's in. I'm going to connect that to my tandem pump. Spin you back around here. I'll try and show you how I do this. I do it right here because I have really good lighting, and I found that it helps to have good lighting when I'm doing this because it's just helpful to be able to see. So I'm going to take my tandem cartridge. Get rid of that. Now, you might get nervous when I take a pair of scissors and I cut this end off, but this is what I gotta do, because these two ends do not go together. They used to with the older connectors, but nowadays they don't. So I cut this part off, put that aside, and I take this part and I cut it off. I don't need those. Now I find that these old Animas ones work well because they're big. This is the only part I need right here. I really only need this little metal part. And what I do is I just slide it in both ways. I'm going to try and make sure I can let you see this. So basically I just want to open up the tubing by getting this in carefully so I don't go through the sidewall or anything. And I usually go a little more than halfway. So I've got a little bit left here. Now at this point it's opened up enough, I take it back out. I do the same thing on this one. It takes a bit of a good feel for how the needle goes in the tubing, so you don't poke through the side and create a block that the insulin can't go through. What this does though is the steel part becomes I don't know, a barrier between the insulin and the heat shrink tubing I'm gonna have to put on. So now I've got, at this point, it's in there. I've already opened up this other end. I need that steel piece in between them. So I just take this and I bend it and I break it off with it still inside the end of the tubing. Oh, and before I put this together, I need to slide on some heat shrink tubing. So I take a piece of this, what is this, 1.5 millimeter. I cut it in half or so. Won't need that. And I take another piece. I'm just going to do 2 layers today, so I'm going to keep it simple. So the idea is I'm going to put these on top of the tubing, and then I'll shrink them on after I get the pieces together. Oops. Put the big one on first. Just slide it out of the way for now. Okay, so now I've just got those kind of out of the way, put on there. Now when I push these together, I will have created a seal, basically, but I will still need to hold it together. Okay, so you see the wires where the needle is actually inside the tubing a bit both ways. And that's basically all I need to do for that part right now. I'm going to work on this surface here so I don't get anything on my nice countertop here, because I don't want to mess that up. Let me see now. Try to keep you in the picture. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to take some crazy glue, super glue, whatever. It's all glue. Alright, so I take this, make sure that they are together, and I just put a little dab on there. Okay. Now is when I get my candle going. It's a tiny little flame, but it's... Oh, no. Getting that. The wick is too short on this, apparently. Okay, I got a flame. So now, again, I take these. I put a little extra dab on both ends of where I think that first piece of heat shrink tubing is going to end up. And then I slide that first layer of tubing over it. Trying to center it best I can. Get those things together. that in, and I heat shrink it up. Being careful not to get it too hot and actually melt the tubing. Then I do the same thing again. So that's created one layer, but I usually double it up. That's why I put a second drop on here. And I heat shrink that on there. This is a very small flame, so it's kind of hard to shrink it just the right amount, but it seems to be working. That seems to be shrunk on there pretty good. And that's basically it. So with that, I think I can zoom back out. Now I've joined these animas connector to tandem cartridge. And I'm just trying to put stuff away so I don't lose everything. It's okay. Then, as usual, I just fill my cartridge. Don't get it anywhere else. I usually put about a milliliter or 1 cc in my syringe here. I know I don't have to be careful with the air right now. Weird thing with these tandem pumps is that they need you to suck an air bubble out of them before you fill them with insulin. You can actually see it happening. Sometimes you can see it happening in here when you suck the air out. I'm not sure if it'll show you that today or not, but yeah, you can kind of see some air bubbles come up through there. I usually do this a lot because I don't want air in my tubing or in my insulin. At that point, I take it back out. All I've done is taken the air out of the cartridge at this point. And then I fill the syringe with, in my case, I go 300 units every time. I'll use it up before I'm done with this cartridge. In fact, I will often reuse this whole cartridge and tubing setup multiple times. I'll often get like 2 weeks out of it, and then I'll change it. Okay. I'm just gonna put that away. So I usually store it in the box with the insulin, so I can't forget. Barely fits, but that's okay. Now I go through my usual, my Dexcom sensor thinks I'm 2.7, but it's not. Dexcom is out to lunch today. Oops, not that. Load, change cartridge. Yes. I'm doing all this on the video so that you can see how the insulin actually comes out through the tubing so quickly. as a cabinet maker, you can see this, I end up doing a lot of dusty stuff, so I get a lot of dusting. Oh shoot, I pushed a button I wasn't supposed to. Or something. I'm hearing something, but I don't know what it is. Sometimes I will just take a Q-tip, lightly wet it, clean out in here a bit. It's one of the downfalls of having such a dusty job. I'm showing people how I do my insulin pump tubing. Look at that. I'll be done in a minute. Make sure. See, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I'm getting insulin through that. It's really hard to see in the video, but yeah, it's going through. I could see the insulin coming up through and pump up through there. By the time I get to 10 or 12 units, something like that, it'll start dripping into here. My kids are playing in the background. Oh, here we go. There you see, got insulin coming out there. But I gotta go up to 10 units, so I gotta wait. Now, so I take that, plug it into my new pump site, prime it up, or fill my cannula, I guess it is. There. And that's it. I'm done. Yeah, 6 grams weighed to lunch. I'm definitely not 2.9. I'm going to be changing the sensor in a minute, but I wanted to show you how I do this while I have a few minutes. All right, I'm up and running. I've got 240 plus units. There's actually 300, and I am plugged in with animas pump tubing with tandem insulin pump. That's it. Talk to you later.